If you think Africa has no real military power, you are about to be shocked. In 2025, one country quietly changed that belief forever. While the world focused on America, China, and Russia, South Africa was building something powerful in silence. They built a modern army, a strong air force, and a navy that surprised the world. Most people never noticed what was happening, but now South Africa stands among the top 30 militaries on Earth. It is the most powerful nation in all of Africa. So how did this happen so fast? How did a country once cut off from the world become this strong? The answer begins with pressure and struggle. When others turned away, South Africa turned inward. They made their own weapons, their own vehicles, and their own systems. Every failure became a lesson. Every challenge became strength. This is the true story of how South Africa turned isolation into power and built one of the strongest militaries in 2025. Many years ago, the world turned its back on South Africa. Because of apartheid, other countries stopped helping them. They faced strong punishments called sanctions. No one wanted to trade or work with them. No country sent them weapons or military support. They had no allies and no friends. South Africa was completely alone. Most nations would have given up in that moment. But South Africa did not quit. They made a choice to survive on their own. They said, if no one will help us, we will help ourselves. This was the start of a big change. Their struggle soon became their strength. And what South Africa did next would shock the whole world. South Africa was now cut off from the whole world. No country would sell them weapons or technology. They had to create everything on their own. It was a hard time, but it also became a turning point. Their engineers and scientists had one choice: innovate or die. They started to design and build their own weapons in secret. Every project was made with local skill and limited tools. Slowly, they became self-sufficient in defense production. They built artillery, tanks, and armored vehicles that shocked other nations. Their work created the largest arms industry in all of Africa. These engineers worked day and night, driven by national survival. But then in 1994, everything changed, and this military machine faced its biggest test yet. In 1994, the long rule of apartheid finally ended. The new government took control of a powerful war machine. They now owned tanks, jets, and weapons built during years of isolation. But there was a big problem waiting inside. The army was divided between old soldiers and freedom fighters. These men once saw each other as enemies. Now they had to become one team. It was not easy. Many carried anger, pain, and fear from the past. But the new leaders wanted to turn this army into a force for peace. The question was simple: could they really do it? Could they change a tool of oppression into a shield of unity? The answer would come in 1998, with the most ambitious military plan in African history. In 1998, the new South African government made a bold move. They announced the Strategic Defense Package, worth 30 billion rand. It was the biggest military investment in the country's history. They ordered new Corvette warships, submarines, and fighter jets. They bought the Swedish Gripen jets and advanced helicopters from Europe. But this plan was not just about buying new weapons. It was a message to the world. It said, South Africa is back. After layers of isolation, the nation was ready to rejoin global power ranks. The plan was risky and very expensive. Many people wondered if it would truly work. The 2000s would decide the answer. But the real secret weapon wasn't what they bought. It was what they built themselves. While South Africa was buying new weapons from other countries, something big was also happening at home. Their own arms industry began to grow fast. Local engineers started making world-class weapons inside South Africa. They built the Rooivalk attack helicopter, a machine that could rival any in the world. They created the G6 Rhino artillery, known for its long range and accuracy. They designed the Umkhonto missile system, made for modern defense. Each weapon became a symbol of national pride. South Africans were proud to see their own machines stand beside those from global powers. They even made the A-Darter missile with Brazil, a weapon respected by many advanced militaries. But having the best weapons means nothing without the best soldiers. And South Africa was about to create them. As South Africa's power grew, its soldiers began to serve far from home. They joined UN and African Union missions across the continent. They went to Congo, Sudan, and Mozambique to keep the peace. But peacekeeping was not always peaceful. Each mission became a real combat test. South African troops faced danger, violence, and tough conditions. They had to protect civilians while standing against armed groups. Many were young soldiers learning in the heat of battle. Their discipline and courage earned deep respect from other nations. These missions turned new recruits into battle-hardened veterans. Every fight made them stronger, smarter, and more united. But the 2010s brought something different, a challenge bigger than any battlefield. South Africa was about to face its biggest test yet. In the 2010s, South Africa's defense budget dropped sharply. Spending fell to just 0.7% of the country's GDP. Money for the military became very tight. Many projects were stopped and upgrades were delayed. The question was simple: how do you keep a strong army with no money? Most countries would have fallen behind. But South Africa found a smarter way to survive. They focused on targeted upgrades and small, smart reforms. They improved training, maintenance, and efficiency instead of wasting money. Their goal was precision, not size. And while cutting costs at home, South Africa was making powerful friends abroad. South Africa began to build strong friendships around the world. They made strategic partnerships with both Western allies and BRICS nations. They joined military exercises with global powers and shared training programs. Their troops learned new tactics and modern technology from other countries. At the same time, they kept their independence and national pride. They did not want to be controlled by anyone. South Africa earned respect by helping keep peace across the region. Other nations began to see them as a reliable leader in African security. Every move was part of a bigger plan. All of this was preparing South Africa for its ultimate transformation in 2025. They had to protect civilians while standing against armed groups. Many were young soldiers learning in the heat of battle. Their discipline and courage earned deep respect from other nations. These missions turned new recruits into battle-hardened veterans. Every fight made them stronger, smarter, and more united. But the 2010s brought something different, a challenge bigger than any battlefield. South Africa was about to face its biggest test yet. In the 2010s, South Africa's defense budget dropped sharply. Spending fell to just 0.7% of the country's GDP. Their local industry, trained soldiers, and modern technology worked as one. This made South Africa a true military superpower. They had turned isolation into independence and pressure into progress. A nation once cut off now leads a continent. The world finally respects the country everyone ignored. South Africa proved that real strength comes from within, not from others. From apartheid isolation to 2025 military power, South Africa's transformation is complete. This story proves how vision and determination can build a world-class military from nothing. Subscribe to see more stories of nations that defied the odds and changed history. Which African country do you think could follow South Africa's success? Tell me in the comments below.